Hello and welcome to the morning meeting. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jimmy. His name is Matthew. Middle name, Michael.
No, that would be an MMM situation. That's a little weird.
Triple M in the building. We talk about the company here, some behind the scenes stuff. We answer a lot of questions from you guys. If you have questions for next episode, leave them in the comments of the YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. That helps us out a whole bunch. Let's see. I've been on a big agenda kick lately, just letting people know the agenda real quick. So we got Fanatics Fest, Boone fun stuff, BB5, 3 things content, and then a ton of questions about breakdowns, warehouse, YouTube, and other stuff. How are you, Matthew?
I'm good. I was ready to tell people, hey, we only need 10 more subscribers to get to 21,100, but it was already passed. So 98 more to get to 21,200.
We already passed it.
Yeah, we passed.
Nice. Go us.
Yeah.
Go us.
Yeah, but I'm ready for this show.
Okay.
Fanatics Fest was this weekend. It's a pretty weird transition, but it was. And I am still feel like half recovering from it. Are you recovered?
I think so. I've moved on by just powering through these last couple of days.
Yeah.
And you were there all 3 days. Patrick was there all 3 days. Who else was there all 3 days? Joe's might have been. Courtney was there.
Noah and Sophia.
Yeah, they helped out.
Yeah. Noah and Sophia walked up to me. I was sitting at the front desk and said,
children.
Joe's children.
You don't know.
They said, can you move? We'll handle this.
Nice.
And so I said, okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
They're awesome. But it was Fanatics Fest that people that still don't know. It was the first of its kind giant sports convention, like a Comic-Con for sports. And if you're into collecting cards, the cards genre of life, I guess, or autographs, kind of a must go for those people because they had like 170 different athletes come by to sign autographs, to do live shows. Then they had big ass streamers, Sketch and Speed. They were like a buzz of bees when they walked through. People just following them around. That was crazy. Kickball Dad, he's going to be in our floorball tournament. He beat Speed in soccer.
He did.
And the crowd was chanting Speed, and then they chanted his name. I asked him about that. He was telling me about that. That's fun. So that's what it was. My Speed tour did like crazy. That was just like a kind of a video just to post a video, and then it did really well. I was shocked by that. I guess people were interested, and then a lot of people said came up and they're like, I came because I saw your tour. I was like, oh, that's like wild. Didn't know. I was just like trying to get people to come to our booth.
Yeah.
But they were like the whole festival. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. It probably had the same effect of when you posted the cricket field. Like, this is just one of the first videos of this big event. Here you go.
142 views on Instagram, which isn't crazy for my account, but 252 shares is a lot for a smaller amount. We had a whole setup. We had a warehouse cage where kids could come in, or anyone could come in, and anything but a bat home run we got Ice was doing the first day. The next day we set up like a blitz ball on a tee and a gong, and you had to hit the gong, which was smart because the gong's loud. I was right by our merch shop. The merch, we sold a lot of merch. That was cool. Met a lot of people. I was editing a breakdown so people could kind of watch. Although that kind of got interrupted a lot because I was saying hi. But it's a very draining event because you are doing meet and greets for the whole entire time. Like Friday, I did 4 hours of meet and greet, and then we did our 2-hour show. Mm-hmm. And I left the office the same time I always leave. I came home the same time I always come home. I felt like I did 4 days in one. I was just on the couch like,
Yeah.
Meet and greet's the most draining thing in the world.
Yeah.
Especially, like, some people are better equipped for it. Like I met up with Peter Moylan, and I was telling him, and he goes, oh, you're not made for that, man. You're not made for that. I was like, yeah, no. I'm a shy by nature. I'm not that's not how I treat life ever.
Right. Peter might thrive.
Good to see you. Oh. Yeah. No, Pete is like me. Like when we would go to those events, he would stay home with me. He doesn't like going to bars. He doesn't like going to see people. Like me and him would be home. Ryan Cohen, Jake, they kind of got in. It does take a big toll on Jake after a little bit, but
yeah.
Yeah.
We will hit, I didn't put that on this list because that episode hasn't come out yet, but you did the digging deep. So I'm curious how that went. Maybe we'll talk about that a bit later. You mentioned the live show. That was exciting. 2 hours. That's definitely the longest we've gone. It was like everybody was involved, and I'm not sure we've, other than like watch-alongs where it's like baseball playoffs, 2 hours is long.
Yeah, just to talk about anything. So we did 2 hours. I wanted all of our creators, like Fanatics said, they wanted us to do that. That's what they pegged us for. Can you do a live show? We need baseball conversation. Can you do that? And we said yes. And then they pay people to do it. And I think what we said on that end was, we'll do it for a lesser fee if you give us a booth. So we were the only digital creator company, like company of our kind, with a booth on the showroom floor. It was like the other booths were MLB, MLS,
NFL,
NBA, NFL,
WNBA, UFC, WWE, and then there was like a lot of apparel companies, Lids, Mitchell and Ness,
New Era. Yeah. So we were the only media company, digital media company with a booth on the floor, which was awesome. And that was kind of the exchange. They wanted us to do the show. We said, yeah, we'll do the show, but this. And then they also they said, you can do whatever you want in the show. Like, they didn't say it just had to be me or just me and Jake, just talking baseball, just baseball day. And I said, great, because I want all of our creators to get on stage. I want to showcase everyone and do all of that. So I built the run of show, I don't know, a long while ago, because it's been worse. I just texted Courtney a little bit. Like, they were working on it. I was like, no, this is what I do. And it was like, we were supposed to have an interview. That fell through. 3 topics. And then
umpire.
Yeah, we got ice playing the umpire game, ref guest game against Jake. Like, we wanted to get the crowd engaged more. A lot of the other shows, they were just kind of just sitting and doing podcasts. And then, I don't know, I didn't see all of them. WWE was very much
I was just
engaged.
going to say that.
That was wild.
That's what they do.
But to break it up for the audience and us, I thought that was smart to do. And it was cool. And then within that, that's how I always explain it. It's like, I like building the structure. And then I go to Jake and Rose, and they're so good at coming up with like, what is, here's a box, put a gift in it, and they get the gift. Like, they're way better than me at that, and they're really good. So Rose was really good because we were like, it's a big crowd. People that aren't baseball fans might be listening, and just like, sports fans. So it was like, all right, we can't go stats, we can't go deep. We got to hit them with just the big conversations. And then he did a little like Q&A with Shelfie and Jolly and Joe's about their teams. And Rose said, we need to do 10 minutes of me asking you about the lip reading. That's the most famous videos and what people like always ask me about. How does he do it? And it wasn't part of my run of show. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Probably should do that. So that got added. And by the time I came back out for that segment, the crowd had completely changed, because it started, everyone was in their seats for the baseball, like in us, and it was a baseball crowd. You see the jerseys, you see the people interested. Then there was a lull. It's 2 hours. And like, some people walked around the show, and there was some empty seats. When I came back out, it was a Knicks crowd, because Jalen Brunson's show with Tom Brady and Lil Wayne was up next.
Yep.
Which was fine. Like, we knew that. We're like, hey, there's going to be a lot of people at the end, because we're opening basically for these guys. So let's have some fun up there at the end. So that was, when I looked out, I was like, oh, this is different crew.
And Josh Hart, not to forget, but
I did forget.
I didn't.
You
Together,
didn't.
collective.
Yeah.
The crowd definitely shifted, and that's okay. I think that
good. That was what we wanted. Like, people that don't know who we are,
for sure.
And now, if it was only people who knew who we were, then it is not. There's no benefit of doing the show. So like, it was a little like, oh, do you guys care about this?
Right.
I don't. Well, whatever. Here, pique your curiosity.
Yes, I think the statement that's gone around a lot is that we followed Dana White and we're the opener for Tom Brady and Lil Wayne.
Yeah, we really thought we were going to share a green room with Lil Wayne and Tom Brady, but they were late. They started really late, right?
Yes. We finished like 10 minutes early or 5-10 minutes early. They started 15 minutes late. So Fanatics Fest had a hard, you guys got to get out of here, because we were definitely trying to linger. Any big things, like takeaways or lessons from this past weekend? Like, if we do events like this or different type of events, are there things that you're like, ooh, this can change and could be better, or we learn this?
it's nice to be attached to a big event. Like, I think if we do shows in the future, we'll do some that like we're running on our own. But if there's conventions going on, or what do they call it at All-Star Game? The little fair they have,
Fan Fest.
Fan Fest. If we could like work with those people to have a booth and then be part of the programming to do a live show, logistically, it's so much easier. They sold the tickets, they organized everything, we set up. We didn't have that much overhead and that much like stress. We're still small team. So I think that was one. I was like, oh, it's easier when like we're part of something bigger, but we can still have our audience come. So that was one. It's like, oh, we shouldn't shy away from attaching because it is like beneficial and you get some new audience. The other, I think I haven't talked about this. We haven't like done a
debrief. Yeah.
What's the military term? AAR, after action report. We haven't done one of those. But you and Patrick and Ryan and everyone that was there for full days should not have had to do that. And is so exhausting, and we need shorter shifts, more help so people can come and go. And we needed like an actual break room.
You don't think that we had an actual break room?
No. Do you see the picture of me sleeping in there?
I've seen the pic.
I was so exhausted.
You going to show the people or what?
Yeah, I think Courtney sent it in like our family chat because I didn't know she took it.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't even know how you describe that room. It was like a fake little like closet.
Fake closet. Behind the scenes, our entire booth was fake walls. Like it's just pieces of fabric.
Yeah, it looked good though.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure that's what every booth was. It's not like this was any different.
People came up and asked where we got it from. 2-3 different people, because they were like, I'm doing an event, like someone from the NFL. And like, this is really cool how it's shaped and it's got rooms. And then we told them how much we got it for. And they're like, whoa, that's cheap. So this was my napping area. I don't know if we're going to be able to see that. I can send it to Rob.
Yeah, we could probably send that out.
I was comfy. I can nap on the floor though. Sometimes, like nap. So I have sunglasses on, headphones in. I'm good to go.
I also took a nap on the warehouse flooring. I got there too early on Saturday.
Why'd you think it was 9?
Yeah, I got there at like 8 because I just thought it would be the same time as the day before, and so I just took a nap on the warehouse floor, and woke up to a guy in an orange shirt looking into the cage at me. I was like, "Hey," he's like, "Hey, my bad." There's a few other things that I want to hit on before we move completely off of Fanatics Fest, because you had an interesting interaction and you went on his show with Bobby Bones. That's something that should be going out this week. I should text the producer. But yeah, I didn't know who Bobby Bones was, so fill the people in on Bobby Bones, and also
only
like
the youngest
how that
person
came to
ever
be.
inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame.
No, it's on me. It's on me.
Joking. I know Bobby Bones because I have a friend in California, Jamie, who he's her personality. You know what I mean? Like she like listens, she likes him. He's got a radio show, a lot of country music stuff. He's hosted TV shows before as well. Some of the music shows. I'm trying to forget. So I've never been like a full-time listener, but I don't consume much full-time content at all anymore. He's also got a band. He does a ton of stuff. I think he grew up, I remember hearing about his childhood, like growing up. I think he grew up poor and ate like pickle sandwiches or something weird like that, like mayonnaise sandwiches maybe. I feel like back in the day I did, it was some interesting like that. Anyway, we walked by where I was like, I want to take a tour of this place and see what it's like. And I was, oh, Bobby Bones. So I took a video to send to Jamie. So we just walked in front and we're filming, and you were like, he's looking at you. And I was like, wow, I stopped and I'm filming him. That's probably like weird. And then it turns out he is a fan or knows of me, and likes the videos. So came looking and wanted me to go on the show, which I was able to do. And that was really cool. Like, he was really nice. Genuinely interested, baseball fan, Cubs fan. So that's a cool connection, because he's just like a normal dude that got started doing, radio and commentary and personality-based stuff, which is similar to what we do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was super after the show ended and we chatted for a minute. He was a very nice guy. But yeah, funny how he did definitely notice us the day before. Lastly here, you on Saturday attended with Kaity, James, and Claire. Did they have fun?
Yeah, James had a blast. I think Kaity is a lot of crowds, and we had 2 kids. So at one point, I walked through we were trying to get food in that middle area where all the food was. That was like faux Hollywood.
Yeah.
She was like trying to get food. I was like, no, just keep going. And she didn't want to walk through the crowd with the babies and all that. And I was like, come on, just trust me. Got all the way to the other side past the card collectors, and there's food there, and it's quiet. And I was like, see. And so that area was too hectic for her. But yeah, we had a good time because we went back to the hotel, naps, came back, and then it was more empty, and James got to play and stuff, and Claire got to run around as well.
Yep.
I was really glad they got to come.
Cool. Before we get to all the questions, we would be remiss not to speak about yesterday's Boone interview. I think that you mentioned it in there, but definitely the most heated interaction you've probably had with him, and I think that that's the general perception coming out of it. Did you know that it was going to be like that going in, that he would be that defensive, for lack of a better word?
No, because he like agreed with us, and then the whole thing got lost. But anyway, it was heated in those moments, and then it's not. So I don't like.
Oh yeah.
People, and it's fun, and it's baseball conversation, and you get heated with your friends, and you talk baseball, and you scream at each other, and then you like go on, and it's much closer to that than what people try to make it. And I understand when we post just clips like that context is lost. The fact that we went on to 3 more topics after that, and we were laughing, and I made a joke, and he laughed, and we were fine, but I'm frustrated with some of the way things they're doing, and I have genuine questions. So, and the whole thing gets lost. The context of it's got completely lost for a lot of people. And then there are people on like, cause it was a big Reddit thread, all this, and the context has got a little lost. Cause you get people like, why aren't you asking about this? Like, we did ask about that. We do ask about that. This is just the clip you're responding to.
Yeah.
And it was saying, why don't you give him a rest? Not bench him, send him down, like for Volpe. It was because Jake was like, Peraza's up and Jazz is out. You could give Volpe a couple days off your feet. I think even that, like Boone just got upset and went in defensive mode and wasn't fully hearing that either, because it was just like, no, we're just talk about rest. There's actually stuff before that I think pissed him off more.
Clay.
No, not Clay. Glaber stuff. But anyway, he throws stuff back in our face. He's like, yeah, Jazz is back, but you guys want us to move Jazz. And I was like, yeah, I want a better infield. And he's like, well, he said something funny. He said, well, Jazz going second. He hasn't played there in a while. How is that better? I said, well, anyone's going to be better than Glaber since he ranks out worst right now.
You said you don't have to make me say that.
Yeah. So don't make me say that, which is whatever, half in jest. I don't know. That's what I want the show to be. I want it to be when people complain that we're asking softball questions and having too much fun. I want it to be that at times. People say you're being too hard, or that like is that tone's bad. We want it to be that at times, and then we want it to be in the, like that's what we agreed when we signed with him. I made sure. I told Jake. I said this is going to be different, and we got on the phone with his agent and his manager, and then I said I got out before we signed this, Boone. I wanted to get on the phone with you, and we'd never talked before, besides like in person a couple times. So I said, hey Boone, we're fans. We're not going to lose that. And I'm going to ask questions on behalf of the fan base, and they're going to be annoying or even dumb at times. And you need to correct me, we need to have a back and forth. I said, but we can't avoid topics, and we can't act like third party radio hosts and just keep it moving. Like this is going to be like irrational fans asking you questions. And he was like, I want that. I want to go back and forth. I want to chop it up. I'm like, okay, good. So I walked away from that episode being like, yeah, those like 30 seconds got like heated. But in the end, it's fun. I was like, that was good. It's fun. Like it's, when you have a good debate with someone, you walk away and you're like, good shove. He's defending his guys, and he should, but he also agreed within it. Like the K show talked about it, and they were even like, but he did agree with them. Cause I said, last year you said you ran him down, and why don't you give him a break? And he said, yeah, I did miss some opportunities to give him rest. It's like, okay, you just agreed.
Yeah.
You just agreed. But we're getting upset. And then, I don't know. It's good because like ESPN Radio is doing an hour on that. The clips go viral. Reddit goes viral. With that comes people that don't know the context and don't care to know, and they just want to like fire off. So part of it. And the weirdest part is like when you posted the clip on this show, and like I responded to some dude because he was writing like paragraph comments, but he was saying that like it's disrespectful. Did you see those at all? I was kind of in there.
I saw that you responded. I don't remember the full context.
Like the sentiment that I got to treat Boone like the president and like bow down. I'm like, no, like that. I was like, no, that was two dudes treating each other. Like a lot of people understood, like treating each other with respect and yelling at each other and voicing their opinions.
Yeah. He said that your vibe is always here to argue, which is not the case.
I get that a lot. I don't know if that's my vibe. I don't like arguing.
I don't think that's your vibe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not your vibe to me.
Comes off that way sometimes, maybe.
Most recent comment is just fight. The thing that I wanted to hit on here is when Boone came into this office last year, and obviously that's something that very few people get to see. Like the people in this office were privy to it. You, Jake, and Boone had a incredible rapport of like going back and forth and just talking as if you're friends. So then, yeah, when you're seeing this as friends in this video and context, if you're missing that part of like, oh, this is just how two people that like and respect each other would go back and forth every once in a while. It's a healthy like sports debate, and that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The comment that this guy said is like, the nerve you got to have to talk to an MLB manager like that is wildly disrespectful. Like he's the Pope.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wasn't even being rude. The only time I was rude was when he told me stop. And I said, I could say stop to you.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
Yeah, it's not like an arguing tactic. Like just say, okay, stop talking.
Yeah.
Okay, you
stop.
do.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can just say stop whenever I want out as well. Anyway, we pay him a lot of money to come on the show and answer questions. So the people that are like, okay, he's doing you a favor. No, he's not.
Right.
That's not the situation.
No.
We pay him a lot of money to come on the show and answer questions.
Yeah, and Michael K hit on that same point when he talked about it. Do you want to play anything from that episode?
Yeah, because, well, the caller on this episode of the Michael K show cracked me up because he doesn't like us, doesn't like Boone, but he listens all the time, which is fine. That's how Howard Stern said he got famous. You got to have more people hated him than liked him. But and then K has our back because K's awesome.
The Jomboy guys, for that matter. I mean, these guys they're fans that were given like a ridiculous opportunity, and they tend not to ask difficult questions because I think they're just happy that Boone is like a guest on it. And I think that's part of the reason he goes on the show for the softball questions they ask him at times. But I think it's
funny. But they don't ask softball questions.
Today wasn't softball.
Well, I was about to get to that. Usually they do, Mike. I don't know how often you listen. I listen to them a lot, and they usually do. Today was, yes, very different. But I think it's funny that Boone relies on stats so much, but when he's given the stats that don't go in his favor, he just dismisses them or gets angry. And, he says when you run the team, I just think that's a corny response.
The funny part is he goes, when Boone's given stats that go against what he says, that is us not doing softball questions.
Yeah. By nature.
By nature,
yeah.
That's us not doing softball questions. That's us countering what he's saying. And then Boone. So, like, this guy's a little confused, I think.
He's confused.
Yeah.
Back with Will. John and Jake have been given the...
John sounds like Jomboy. All right. So.
Yeah.
call me John. No, Kay and I have a good relationship, so slip of the tongue.
Slip of the tongue. He was trying to defend you. That's all.
Yeah, it is funny.
Back with Will, John and Jaco have been given this opportunity. They created this opportunity. They pushed the door down and they've made a career for themselves, and nobody gave it to them. And as for Boone, you're going to throw numbers at him, and he's going to have numbers that are going to counteract that. So your numbers are not the numbers that he's making his decisions off of.
Last night I was listening. They did it was like 40 minutes, and they played the clips, and they had callers calling. There's 3 callers that called in. Will was one of them. And it was wild to listen. I was kind of just like, whoa, this is cool. But Kay is had our back. Even when he disagreed, he's like, this is what Boone signed up for. He signed up to talk to fans, and that's what they're doing. And then, they were dissecting it. It was funny. That call was just funny to me. It was like, I don't like this. I don't like that. They're soft to him. And then Kay saying, I liked Kay saying, no one gave us this. Like, that's the attitude that I don't. And that was the comment there is like, you guys are blessed to you guys are so lucky. It's like, no, we're not. We are lucky that we have a community of loyal listeners and fan base that have grown us to this spot. They're the only people that gave us this opportunity. It's not like we were just plucked and been like, here's your show, go talk. And by the way, Boone's a guest. Here you go. And we didn't grow so that was the weird part. I like that Kay said that there. It's like, we're not who are we bowing down to? Yeah.
I had not heard this clip in full until you just played it. And when he said that, I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I appreciate Kay. Kay's always got it. He's always awesome.
Before we get into anything else, we got to thank our sponsor, DraftKings, today. Thank you to them for sponsoring. Whether you're cheering on your alma mater or just love the thrill of college football, you're going to want to listen to this, because right now, all new customers who bet $5 on anything will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's something that we can all celebrate together. That's right. New customers can bet just $5 on anything and receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets to bet anytime touchdowns on DraftKings. DraftKings is the place to bet touchdowns. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code MEETING with a G and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code MEETING only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. No touchdowns will be scored in Blitzball Battle 5, but the prep for that begins today. We have our kickoff meeting for Blitzball Battle 5. That is filming in just under a month. I think it's 4 weeks to the day. We will be in the warehouse.
It's coming up.
Probably in the midst of game number 1 at this moment. A, how do you feel as the executive producer role? B, how do you feel player role?
Player role, I don't feel great. Although, when's Como Blitzball putting out those videos? Because I played in that game and I was not prepared at all. And I walked away from it feeling like I was decent. I don't know when those are coming out.
Neither do I.
So player, we got to get there. 4 weeks means 4 days of practice, and that's scary. I'm really excited for Blitzball Battle 5. We have our kickoff meeting today, as you said, going through it with Sam. I'm trying to take way more ownership over a lot of the organization. I talked about the orientation for floorball, doing the ICC event for Cricket World Cup, and being a guest there made me rethink how. Just seeing the giant operation be more like how much more communication, ownership, and leadership we could have there in that situation. So I'm trying to streamline it more. Here's a task. Here's your roles. Here's put a crew, all that stuff. But I'm really excited, and it's going to come up so quick. So that is scary.
And as the producer in the warehouse, is there anything that is going to be drastically different than before?
I wanted to try and do 3 fielders, but it seems like that's going to be a very tough task. I wanted to have all-time fielders as helpers. I think no one wants to do that.
Nobody wants to do that, huh?
Yeah. I think it would help the gameplay a ton.
Because you feel like there's too much offense.
I think the games go long, which hurts the shoot and hurts the arms. When you're hunting strikeouts, that means you're going to throw more balls. If you have two fielders, cheap hits will most likely be outs, which means you can attack the zone a little more, which means you can save your arm a little more, which means if this works, eventually we could do more games in the same amount of time, and that would be beneficial for everything. Also think, there's too many hits that are not hits, so then batters might have to swing harder, and that could lead to more quicker outs. Or not that offense necessarily needs to be curbed. In some situations it does, but game length, not in final form on the YouTube, but in time in the warehouse. Sometimes the blitzball games take so long that it's hard for the crowd to stay energized. It's hard for everyone to get into it. And we don't have enough to have full-time thirds on the blitzball teams. We talked about this a couple episodes back here. Yeah. So I thought that was and some of the players I talked to were into it. But you'd have to have like a designated fielder for the game.
Yeah, the only reason I wouldn't like that is because you would be losing those slow hit bouncers and then the fielder like running the whole way and then sliding, and Drew Davis has banged into the wall, Jack has banged into the wall.
But those plays scare me as well.
Yeah, fair. Before we get into the questions part of the show, Katie's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to her. Was that a fun day?
Yeah, we went out to dinner. I took the kids to Target the night before to get them some so they can pick out presents for her. Almost lost one of Claire's Crocs, but then I asked an attendant. She found it. That was good. It was good. I mean, Katie and I aren't the biggest celebrators of holidays. Like we truly, I don't think I've ever done Valentine's Day. I always try to check, like,
you still
don't care, right? But then we also don't want to like not get anything. You know what I mean? We would also be upset if we didn't. So it's this weird conundrum of like not going overboard, but making sure we acknowledge it. I don't know. I hope I did good.
I'm sure you did. All right, let's rip some questions. Again, if you have a question that you would like to be answered next week, please leave that in the comment section down below. First, question comes from Brett Hafner. He said the Wednesday warehouse live streams have been a blast to watch. How do you feel like the first two went compared to expectations? And before you answer, we do have our third one coming tomorrow night, Trick Shot Palooza. Bunch of trick shots in the warehouse.
Jack and Zoe are back already?
I believe they're filming for We Got Ice today.
What a grind those kids have been on.
Yeah. Hopefully Friday can be rest.
Yeah. Wow. Trick Shot Palooza. Tune in Thursday. It'll be Jake and I won't be there. We got Talking Yanks and other stuff going on. We talked about this last episode, didn't we?
A little bit.
Like, I'm proud of us that we always try new things.
Yeah, we did.
I think the timing of them wasn't great to do such big productions. Kind of wanted a slow August, and until this Monday, with the first 18 days, it was actually a jam-packed August, which we really didn't want. I think Jake and I kind of got tapped out because we came into August thinking like, nice, we're finally at our slowdown after All-Star and after my vacation and after July. And then we were like, oh my goodness, like, forgot trade deadline calls for late nights. Forgot we planned these warehouse crazy streams that call for like a ton of prep meetings and then the streams, Fanatics Fest, upfronts. So I think my vision is clouded right now by just the impact they've had on my life more than the stream itself. So I'll wait till I'm more removed to look at it.
It's fair. All right, let's hop down to that questions section in your notes.
Next up, questions.
Mike W6644 says, He was going through old breakdowns. It seemed like the Granky one is the most popular breakdown from the last year. It's like number 300 on the list of most viewed breakdowns. Why do you think that is? Recent breakdowns are better than they've ever been. They just aren't getting viewed as much? ? Why?
I think it's just the nature of where you're viewing them, the nature of YouTube or the content switching. Breakdown I posted March 29th of this year has 13 million views on YouTube. It's just a short. You know, they used to be 2 minutes long, the old ones, and they would go crazy. September of last year has 10 million views on YouTube. February of this year has 8.4 million on YouTube. April of this year has 6.4 million on YouTube. April 29th of this year, 5.6 million. So main videos are just a tougher time to go. And this isn't even counting TikTok or Instagram where we post them as well. So like views as a collective aren't down. I would like the main videos on YouTube to be higher, but like they're still getting views everywhere. And in total, the channel is doing way better. So it's just kind of like if you just look at that number, that's what you'd perceive. But from January 1 to August 20th, the main channel this year has 196 million views. In that same span last year, it's got 106 million views. And in that same span in 2022, it's got 168 million views. So we're 90 ahead of last year and 30 million ahead of 2 years ago. So it is fine. Like
I think that
I thank you for saying they're better because the quality is much better. The distribution is much different. And like the video recently, and like it's a good question because I also like the main channel just had a spell where they're like oddly down. The Springer one went back up to 400K, which is good. But the calmest umpire ejection ever, that one I thought was going to be like big because it's a interesting title, really funny video, like really funny. It's got 200,000 on the main YouTube, which I don't know, that feels light to me. I think I want it in that 400 or higher range. Then, but you go to the TikTok where it's, 41 seconds of all the meat of it and still has the advertiser read in there and everything. And it's got 1 million views. And then you go to like Instagram's got 1 million views. So like total, they're getting way more. We used to not get that many views on Instagram, and we used to not even have a TikTok.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think that you hit the nail on the head in the beginning of like a lot of the breakdowns that used to be 90 seconds now are just as short. So maybe those are the ones that would in 2020 be getting a ton of views.
Yeah, he said Granky. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
What did he say about Granky?
That's the highest one in the last year. Is that him walking towards the ump?
Granky. In the last year?
Yeah, Zach Greinke wasn't being mean to the umpire like people thought.
That was last year, though, right?
11. It's within the last calendar year, I think, is what.
Oh,
he's
okay.
saying.
Whoa. Yeah, but all the ones that have like crazy views, they're like 218, 215, 220 because that's what Twitter allowed at the time was 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Mm-hmm. So I'd make them short and it would cut out a lot of like extra stuff that I enjoyed. Now, if I can make a, like he said, better version for YouTube and the main videos, and then we make a 60-second short of like just the condensed, where back in the day it was just that version. So it's servicing everything, and I get to have more fun in the edit. And I appreciate him saying they're better because they definitely are. Sometimes I go back and watch the old ones and they're funny, but like they're rushed. Or not rushed, they're just different. I just have gotten so much better at skills and editing and all that good stuff, which is cool. The Skip Shoemaker one from this year. might be my all-time favorite. Might. People always ask that, and I never know. And I just checked in while I'm here, and that 6-inning MLB rule change, 6 innings, having 210,000 views is awesome.
Awesome. Yep. That was a bullet on our talk list, but I had removed it for the sake of time. But doing content similar to Jimmy's 3 Things on Maine, is that something that people should expect to see more of? What is your
That was a
thought
perfect
process?
storm. I was literally setting up to record the Springer breakdown, and that got announced. So I was sitting there with the camera on me, with my screen recorder on me, and I had an hour block of time. And I was just like, oh, let me just do this real quick. I'll just give some thoughts real quick. So different style video. So to see it have 200K is really cool, because it's my first time checking in on that. I can't.
Yes.
Why can't I see the analytics on it? Can you?
Pulling it up. 1.97 million now, changed from 1.96. Let's see, where is it? Analytics.
Maybe it's because I was logged into a different account.
Yes, I can see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. We held audience for a decent amount for 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to see audience. Not that many new viewers, but that's pretty deep baseball. Are we shouting out the JM Gaming tournament at all right now? Do you have that on the list? Because
it's not on the list, but JM Gaming.
Yeah, JM Gaming has a tournament going on right now. Sluggers video game. They're like 15-minute videos, games. And right now, I think the first 3 have all been 1 out of 10 on the channel, like all doing better than the last in terms of views.
Yeah.
And that's awesome and exciting. My game went out. It's the most recent one to go out. I would go watch that if you're interested. If you like guts stuff or gaming or all the personalities, you don't really need to be into gaming that much. It's just like a baseball video game with characters. But the tournament's going out right now, and they're doing well, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, good stuff there. All right, to rip through some of these other questions before we should head out. Isaac asked, newer to the JM world, how many YouTube channels are under the umbrella? Thought it was just a few, but more keep popping up, LOL. Bear Suit Attack answered correctly. We track 20 different channels when we're going through and seeing how each channel is performing. So there's 20. And he said the Jomboy Media channel on the home page has all of the featured channels in a row. So that's where to find all those channels.
Nice.
Same guy, Bear Suit Attack, asked his own question. He's answering and asking, how many times per week does Jimmy replay the interaction with the No Baggies kid in his head?
Forgot about that kid. 0, but that's a fun memory now that I've thought about it. I forgot about that. Should have that soundbite ready or something like that.
Jack Doyle. No.
That's funny.
AT Vids said, can you recommend any books on the early American cricket versus baseball dynamic you were talking about? When you mentioned that cricket was originally the gentleman's game and baseball was for the ruffians, I immediately thought it would be fun to read about.
Where have I read about that before? Maybe a couple books. There's one book, it's like the history of baseball. It's a newer book, True History of Baseball or something like that. What's it called? How Baseball Happened. And I don't recommend, I didn't finish the book.
Right. Just leave it at that.
But in the first chapter, it was there. If you are like a lawyer,
sure,
and into semantics,
good book.
I think that book's for you. It was like, wait, get into the good stuff.
Right.
But they were like dissecting the history of like, but this paper's from here, so who's to really say? And I was like, what? Just tell me the good stories.
Sure.
And it was more like fact checking the stories and telling, and actually that's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow.
Exactly. Interesting one here from Kibra Zakes. They said, is there any plan to start publishing YouTube content in a higher quality, like 1440 or 4K?
Don't think so.
Okay. The interesting factoid here to fact check you.
I would need 50% of the population to have a 4K viewing device.
Yes.
Is that are we there yet? Can I view stuff in 4K on my laptop?
I think so.
But like, if I go to YouTube, do I just switch 4K? Like that's an option?
It's an option. I don't know how many channels are doing that. Like we'd have to find a channel that does that. Like,
doesn't seem to be a demand yet. Well, when 1080 starts looking like crap, then we'll switch.
Yeah,
I am a stickler for quality.
The only interesting thought that I had here was that YouTube, not YouTube TV, YouTube is the most viewed streaming app on televisions now. So like if people have it that blown up, does it look?
No.
I still think it looks fine.
Yeah.
But like, is there a world that, like you said, we'll eventually get to, I think it's going to be TVs first compared to anything else.
We've answered this one a lot. Pass that one.
Okay. Alkshai said a softball or baseball game on a real field would be a cool, they're speaking about warehouse live streams. Is that something you guys have considered?
No, that would be way too much headache. To do a live stream on a field and a remote live, no. It's way too much. To put the quality in that you guys would want it to be would be just crazy amount of money, and yeah, no.
Landon is back with a Goof and Gaff. He said it's been a while. What is your biggest baseball pet peeve? My mother's is watching the third strike.
Yeah, it would be strike three looking and then complaining about it when it's in the zone.
Nice.
That like grinds my gears.
All right. We have two more, not questions, more so just fun things. Fark Ashington said he recommended names, wanted your opinions. Just say you like them or you don't. Zoe, the Swamp Donkeys.
Nope, too many words.
Joe's, the Gamers.
Team Joe's, the Gamers. I like that.
Shelfie, the Brothers or the Liberties.
Team Shelfie, the Brothers. I don't really like that. Team Shelfie, the Liberties. No, I don't like that.
Team Panic, the Platoon.
Team Panic, the Platoon is awesome.
And the unit there, I like Platoon here better.
Team Panic, the Platoon is awesome. I mean, that is great.
Yeah, Nikki, we've got the family already.
Team Nikki, the family. Yeah, we already had that.
And then this was just a nice
You spelled
comment.
Nikki's name with 2 Ks. That's sexy, huh?
That's something.
It's a sexy way to spell his name.
This is just a nice one from Artificial Dreams. Said Jimmy and this host have the best chemistry.
You?
I think that, yeah. It was a comment on this channel on a video that I was in. This show is their most underrated show. It can easily be the staple show for serious discourse. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Serious discourse. That's what we're doing here. And talking to you guys and answering questions and being transparent.
See ya.
See ya. I gotta stop doing this with my shoulders.